Hi, my name is Andrew Manley and I'm doing the SWOT analysis for the external and the internal environments for Sunflower Electric Company. My first slide involves opportunities. One of the opportunities Sunflower Electric has are wind interconnections. Western Kansas has been called the Saudi Arabia of wind by the Sierra Club because it blows constantly year-round. For the most part, wind is an untapped resource, though over the past decade, wind farms are starting to go up all across Kansas. Only states like Texas and California lead Kansas in wind energy, and that's mostly because of land area. One of the good things about wind is it's a free fuel, price stability, and it's less volatile. The cost of extracting coal, transporting coal can go up and down with gas prices, inflation, and other things. Wind is a stable, free supply of energy. It is much less volatile than any other medium. Another opportunity is the Sierra Club. It's America's largest and most influential grassroots environmental organization. For this reason, they can be an opportunity and a threat. It's kind of the idea of keeping friends close and your enemies closer. They can be both a friend and an enemy. They encourage clean energy. So in this situation, they're an opportunity because Sunflower Electric is pursuing wind energy. Next slide on threats. One of the threats is the EPA. This is no news to anybody. This agency is a part of the U.S. federal government, which is created for the purpose of protecting human health and environmental through regulations and laws. It involves Sunflower Electric because some of these new EPA regulations threaten $2 billion invested by Sunflower. Some of the new construction that Sunflower is doing involves the Holcomb project. It's worth $12 billion. It has been put on hold because of the EPA. They're waiting for lawsuits to go through. It hurts business because it restricts businesses from moving forward. Sometimes these prices can be pushed to the consumer, so it's a loss-loss situation. Another threat is the Corn Rule. These involve water regulations and water management. The Corn Rule states agricultural use must exceed industrial water use. The reason behind this is because agriculture puts water back into the ground, therefore it can replenish aquifers. Industrial use usually uses it as steam, which gets in the clouds and it can carry it somewhere else in the world. So it is completely deplenishing that aquifer. The last threat would be the Sierra Club, again from the last slide. Its mission is to educate and enlist humanity to protect and restore the quality of the natural and human environment. They're all about protecting aquifers, and in particular the Ogallala Aquifer in western Kansas. The Holcomb project that Sunflower Electric is pursuing is going to be using or pulling water from the Ogallala Aquifer. Again, in the external environment, Porter's Five Forces model. The threat of new entrants is low because the capital requirements are high. Sunflower assets are $395 million on revenue of $233 million last year. This is up from $375 million 1 year ago. So the balance sheet is expanding. The economies of scale is also very high. These balance sheet assets are very high, so not very many startup companies or entrants can come in and compete with such a high balance sheet. Switching costs are low. Considering that another provider is within the same area, people can move around and go for the best deal per se. Power of suppliers is moderate to high. The Holcomb project uses something called BACT. It's best available control technologies. When they're choosy, they can be very expensive for their supplies. For instance, they get coal from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming. It's known for its low sulfur content, so it has low emissions when it's burned. Being picky like this and getting really good quality supplies causes it's expensive, so it gets passed on. They'd be more expensive. Another power suppliers is wind energy. Wind energy is for the most part a new hot trend. No deals or discounts for buying 100 wind turbines is available. It's in demand. These wind turbines can cost anywhere from $1.2 to $2.6 million each. On top of that, maintenance, upkeep, cleaning, and replacement are all costly. Power's buyers are low. You cannot really demand a lower price on your power bills. Just switching to another provider is all you can do. The only power the buyers have is it's protected by the government. It's a highly regulated energy sector. Enron, thank you very much. They took advantage of California with forced power outages. Because of this, this industry is now highly regulated, and no longer can these energy companies take advantage of consumers. Product substitutions are low. The only really substitution is getting personal stuff like solar power, your own wind generators or windmills in your backyard. The only other one is having no power at all, but this is a very small percentage of the population. The intensity of rivalry, for the most part, Kansas is an oligopoly. They have Koch Industries, Kansas City Power and Light, Westar, as well as Sunflower Electric. All these companies are going for the same goal, but they are competing for the same amount of people, all trying to expand, so they're trying to invade another company's districts or provider communities. So the summary of Porter's 5 forces model: threat of new entrants, low. Power of suppliers, moderate to high. Power of buyers is low. Substitutions is low, and the intensity of rivalry is moderate. So summary, the industry is very strong. The only one that hurts is the power of suppliers. Again, if you get choosy with picking quality products to put into what you're creating, this can be tough. Also, the intensity of rivalry, it's moderate, but it's a business, so you can expect to have multiple companies going after the same goal. Involving the internal environment, some of the strengths: Sunflower Electric is a non-profit electric co-op that's committed to delivering clean, sustainable energy. The good thing about Sunflower Electric is it's dedicated to keeping costs low without inhibiting the nation's economic growth. So they will try to deliver low costs without laying off people or putting limits on power like some cell phone providers on data that you use. Another strength is the Holcomb project. They use that BACS I mentioned earlier, which stands for Best Available Control Technology. The goal is to minimize air emissions. It's a good goal of the business. Strict requirements of materials. Again, they get coal from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming, which is known for its inherently low sulfur content. They also use SCR, or Selective Catalytic Reactor. It controls nitrogen oxides, and they go in the environment. They also use FGD, which is a dry line gas desulfurization. It controls the output of sulfur dioxide into the environment. They also have a fabric filter backhouse, which pulls 99% of particulate matter. So emissions have been reduced considerably over the past 3 decades. The last strength that Sunflower Electric has is they've been doing business since 1957. They know what they are doing. They're knowledgeable. They've acquired economies of scale, and they're very diverse. They're good at it. One of the good things about the knowledge is they have 7 directors with over 20 years experience with the company. So just their human resources within their company is one of their strengths. Weaknesses: when you're creating electricity and power, you produce a lot of solid waste. It's kind of a cost of doing business. Because of this, they've had to expand. They're trying to expand their landfill from 110 acres to 188 acres. This is about 15.4 million cubic yards of solid waste. With this waste, you have to protect groundwater. So whenever it rains on top of this solid waste. It can be contaminated water, and that water has to go somewhere. You must contain it. To contain this contaminated water is very expensive. One of the new regulations is all these companies have to have a fund set up for 30 years of expenses of controlling this contaminated water runoff. Another weakness is financial statements. Yes, their balance sheet has expanded, but because of EPA regulations, public scrutiny, compliance, as well as personal things like bad debt accounts, people not paying, reduced energy bills, cost of supplies, transportation costs, the business must protect itself while still delivering a good product. So this is one of the weaknesses that this business, as well as I'm sure many other businesses across the nation, are experiencing. Last thing in the internal environment is the business level strategy and the corporate level strategy. The business level strategy is to provide reliable, long-term power supply and transmission services to its member-owned at the lowest possible cost, consistent with sound business and cooperative principles. Sunflower is not fuel, technology, or profit biased. In it for the right reasons. They're representing a way of life. They're not going to try to take advantage by making a profit. Corporate level strategy is a related constrained diversification strategy. 63% of its business comes from a PRB coal generated power plant. 33% comes from 5 different natural gas generators, and the final 4% is coming from the Smoky Hills wind farm. They're currently expanding wind farms as well as their coal generated power plants with the new Holcomb projects. They're trying to diversify what they're offering, as well as strengthening its bread and butter in the coal generated power plants. They're all related because they share a common goal, and they use human resources as well as the longevity of their 7 human directors with 20 years experience. And that's it. Again, Andrew Manley. This was the SWOT analysis of the external and the internal environment. Thank you.